And I just want them to be satisfied. This is, I heard him talk about the monies and those kind of things, but I don't think that's the biggest issue. It is the president that is set. I think that's what we're fighting with. I'm glad to see the budget chair come in. Mr. Budget Chair, I need to meet with you. I need you to, I know, but I need you to educate me, okay? Because I can't quite pick something up, so I need your expertise, okay? So I think that they, you know, it's good that they're talking, but I just want to make sure that it's a situation that's real, that's solid enough, because I think the concern that we have about the fact that this ain't the last one we'll see, I think that it may be the road to destroying the whole program. And that's the concern. How can we do this and not set a precedent that we'll see 2 or 3 of the same situation next time, and next time, then pretty soon you don't have a program anymore. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm just struggling myself with trying to see how in the world can we do this and not open up the door. And even though we can close the door, I don't think we can lock it. So that's the problem. Now, maybe I can hear something, you know, when everybody come back, that might tell me something that will, I guess, address that. But that is a concern, and that is a problem that I see exist as it relates to that. So I just, you know how they go. I think that it would, I thought about kind of going into that, you know, sitting there and being a little part of that, but I think it would be at this moment for me to do that, it would be a little counterproductive, because I got a certain position on it already. And I don't think that I should infuse that in that conversation. Well, you told me, and, you know, and I perfectly understand your position, and I know you understand mine. so I think, but we'll see. You know, we'll see what happens when it comes back, and we'll see. Go right on.
And I just think, you know, whatever come out of the room, and just because, you know, just like the other bill, we both had a position on it. The one just got settled, and even the one before that, we had positions on it. It got settled, but it takes people talking.
It does.
Take people talking.
It does.
Because I think maybe 2 hours ago, the one we just finished, nobody thought that these people would even come close together, because they were just so far out, and was just like it was going to be a run-over job. We either going to do it in here or not, you know.
Yeah.
And so people were ready to line up and, you know, get all geeked up about it and start our first hour or two and burn the house down for it.
Mm-hmm.
But then they talked.
Yeah.
And they came back with a resolve. And guess what? We ain't saying nothing else about it no more than I'm talking about it now. Right?
No.
It's gone.
It wasn't a need.
It's not a need.
But now in this one, there might be a little need.
I understand.
It goes a little, it kind of goes a little further. I put it like this. The umbrella, it's a few more people standing on the edge of the umbrella.
I understand. But if those people on the edge of the umbrella we know of come under the umbrella.
Oh, it's all right. Oh, it's all right.
That's the same thing that they just did. Them folks came under the umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Everybody might not like it, because I might still have a little drip hole, and when my head might still get wet, or my hair might be hanging out the side of the edge while it's raining. But at the end of the day, my whole body ain't wet. So
well, let me say this.
We do that all the time. We get away with it. And look, I agree with you. Precedence is big here. It's huge in terms of this, okay? And and like I said, I got these lands in my community too. But I don't even know the folks that runs. I don't even know the folks that's on it. I ain't never been invited down. I don't know. They got plenty of land that they invite folks. They do events, huntings, and stuff like that. I don't know 'em.
Well,
I don't stand here with no love in my heart for them either. Okay? Okay? And I've been down here 20 years. I don't have no love in my heart for them either. At the end of the day, I respect the agency. I don't go against them. I'm not kicking against them. I'm just being honest about it. But so I can say, well, I know at the end of the day, local government, county governments, whatever they're doing in that county, I agree with you. The president is bad by saying, county by county, even though it doesn't touch all 67 counties, even 16 counties, then you have 16 individual counties coming up here, trying to do the same thing. Instead of somebody doing something for everybody, if you're going to do it that way, or let's just not leave it the way it is. Keep on rolling. Because it brings in a lot of money.
You said something in your analysis, though, that I had to make sure I remember. I'm laughing, I'm smiling. You know what you said? Under the umbrella, you said sometime you lean like that and you say you get your hair wet.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, that don't apply to me.
It don't apply to you.
That don't apply to me, dog. That's what I was doing about the hair wet part. I said I can lean out there all I want to.
Well, your skull gonna be wet. Your skull gonna be wet. But at the end of the day, it's still, that's what I like about this body, being a deliberative body. Until they get crazy to wanna start cloturing. But we're a deliberative body, and we can talk about things and work it out. And I love the fact that when we get two members that just going at it, we'll send them in the back room. And if men or women can go in there and work it out, let's work it out. If they can't, we come back in and everybody will choose sides. Because every time we vote, we choose sides. Can't ever say we ain't choose a side. Every time we vote, we choose a side. So then, just line up your marbles and choose side, And so I'm just amazed at the progress that this agency does make, the amount of lands that it has purchased, the kind of preserves that it has across the state. I think for a while it does a good job of what it does. I just don't know.
Well, let me say,
it might be my fault.
I don't know nobody in the whole department. As long as I've been here, nobody from the department has ever said anything to me.
Right.
But let me say this. I just wish that prior to a crisis or something, that these people come talk to us.
Exactly.
If they don't do them, just orientate us. Okay? Because there was and I've said this before, the thing that I think changed a lot of that in my area about 20-some years ago was when this CEO of a Fortune 500 company asked to meet with, in fact, I just say it like this. He asked to meet with all the Democratic legislators.
Okay.
And when we went there, it's obvious that I saw one of two of our Republican colleagues.
Okay.
And they were getting ready to leave, so I assumed that it was a meeting there.
Before the meeting.
Yeah, a meeting before the meeting. But what he said in that meeting is what's important. This is what he said. He said, I apologize. And he said, I apologize because I assume just because you were in a party that you had a fixed mindset about certain issues. And what made him do that, he wasn't saying to everybody, but a lot of us, was that when he looked at our voting record, he said, man, y'all been supporting business all along. He said, and this is what he said. He said, the only thing I see is that you just asking us to be a better corporate citizen. And that was all. You know, I mean, yeah, you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. I'm going to tell you about yourself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I got to support you so you can make money in business and have funds to do what I'm saying you ought to go do. So it's a two-way street, you know, and so that's it. He recognized that. And from that point, they established a very positive relationship because they didn't put us in a certain mindset of his opinion or his pre-thoughts that each point at that time he would individually, or they would, because he wasn't the only one. He was the only one at the meeting, but they had called several meetings. I can remember one meeting I went to, and it was like 7 of them, okay? And they had 1, 2, 3, 4, they had 2 legislators that was already there. And we had a conversation. In fact, the rules chair was there. When I walked in, he was there. So it was in that meeting after that. And that kind of kept the communications open, and to the point where they began to embrace what we were doing and what happened with the stadium in terms of the diversity and providing the workforce for right at 30% or more of the people who did from the top stuff like engineers thing down to the laborers. It was mixed in to where you had 30% minority participation. So the understanding from him, understanding that yes, we do need to have diversity and whatever.
Well, I met the CEO of Shipped, your new industry, your new company downtown Birmingham.
Okay.
The CEO came here in Montgomery and met with me over BCA last year. And I just want to applaud them for the corporate citizenship. They were offering a grant to some rural communities. And when we went on break, I was given an application and the deadline date was right there, but they're going to be a second round coming back to deal with food deserts. And I thought that was just something that's totally different. And I applaud them for being a good corporate partner in the community and giving back. And not just only in Birmingham, but because they represent the state of Alabama, that's their headquarters now, was willing to give food deserts in rural areas across the state. So that was, next time I must send them a note, a letter, email or something saying thank you for opening their hands, saying, Alabama, I'm not just here to make money, but I'm here to give back also. I think that's a good gesture on their part. And they've only been here a couple of years now.
That's the spirit I was talking about that has changed tremendously. And I'm just very thankful that the corporate has changed, has that kind of spirit and that kind of mindset relating to that.
Mr. President, I think we have a semi-resolve. Carry it over to college chair.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered. HB 463 is carried over to call the chair.
Mr. President, which one we're going to do first?
Senator
Mr. President, we'd like to call HB 48 out of order, please.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
It's a sunset bill.
What is the, what's the number again?
HB 48.
HB 48.
Mr. President.
It's a sunset bill.
No, it deals with the sunset matter, Mr. Secretary.
Oh, it's not a sunset bill.
HB 48, though, is that correct?
HB 48.
All right,
It deals with the sunset matter.
Call
with this
Secretary,
board.
hold on 1 second. Call House Bill 48, please.
On page 9 of the calendar, House House Bill number 48 by Representative Brown, K, relating to the Board of Funeral Service. Committee amendment pending.
All right, Senator Figures.
Yes, Mr. President, first of all, I'd like to move to strip the amendment so that it doesn't have to go back to the House. This is a bill that this board has come before the Sunset Committee, which I sit on that committee.
So
This is
you want to,
something that Sunset asked them to do. It has nothing to do with all of the other matters that have been going on with the cemeteries, gentlemen and ladies.
all right. So Senator Figures, on this amendment, are you moving to table this amendment?
Yes, sir, because we don't want it to go back there. This is an amendment that Representative Jones had put on to do a housekeeping measure dealing with majority age, but we can do that next year because we don't want to risk it going back to the House and it not passing.
All right, so we have a motion to table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion to table passes.
Then, Mr.
All right.
President, I'd like to move for final passage using previous role without objection.
All right, hold on a second. All right, Senator Smitherman,
I'd like to be recognized.
you're recognized.
Would you explain this bill to me, please?
It's a
I mean, the bill content. I want to know the
let
content.
me give me my,
Okay.
first of all, let me say that I would never get up here and lie to this body. I know all of the controversy that has been going on with cemeteries and the funeral home bills. This one strictly deals with sunset matters. Those of you who have served on the Sunset Committee and who serve on the Sunset Committee know that licensure boards come before us after they are audited. And this is something that the Sunset Committee asked this particular board to do. In fact, they've been trying to get this done for the last couple of years. Per the request of the Sunset Committee, 2019 establishes a funeral board property acquisition fund. No cost increase to anyone. It takes a percentage of the board's current yearly revenue and place it in a separate fund for the upkeep of the board's office. It takes the money the board was paying in rent and use it for the maintenance and upkeep of the board office, which it currently owns. It simplifies the language relating to the various licenses, certificates, and registrations issued by the board. Instead of naming each license, it changes the language to say licensee or licensed by this chapter. 3, it increases a board member's compensation from $50 set in 1975 to $75. 4, it allows the board to have up to 4 associate directors. The board currently has 1 and will add if pre-need and cemetery regulation is added to the board.
Or about pre-need stuff, would you?
But it's not. That bill is not coming before us to pass. They said that it would add if it came into, so it's not.
I got
but
you.
they have that authority to do that.
Okay.
At the request of state personnel, if the number of employees increase due to the addition of pre-need or cemeteries, and new employees will be under the merit system. It sets a due date for license renewal to September 1st. The license would still expire October 1st. It allows for committees and subcommittees under the board. It sets passing score on exams and the terms of an apprenticeship to be set by rule of the board in accordance with Administrative Procedures Act. It updates course requirement for licensure to the current curriculum in accordance with the American Board of Funeral Service Education. And beginning October 1st, 2023, it requires all funeral establishments to have minimum liability insurance of $1 million.
Okay, thank you. I just
Thank
want
you,
to know.
Senator.
Thank you.
With that, Mr. President, I move for final passage using previous role without objection.
All right, any objection? Long roll? All right, Secretary, call long roll.
Mr. Albritton. Mr. Allen. Mr. Barfoot. Mr. Beasley. Mr. Butler. Mr. Chambliss, Mr. Chastain, Ms. Coleman Madison, Ms. Dunn, Mr. Elliott, Ms. Figures,
Aye.
Mr. Gavan, Mr. Gudger, Mr. Hatcher, Mr. Holly, Mr. Jones, Mr. Livingston, Mr. Marsh, Mr. McClendon, Mr. Milson, Mr. Orr, Mr. Price, Mr. Reed, Mr. Roberts, Ms. Sanders Fortier, Mr. Schofield, Mr. Sessions, Mr. Shelnut, Mr. Singleton, Mr. Smitherman, Mr. Stutz, Mr. Wagner, Ms. Weaver, Mr. Wiley, Mr. Williams,
Twenty-two ayes, 5 nays. House Bill 48 passes.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, members of the Senate.
Thank you, Senator Figures. All right. Hold on one second. Senator Beasley, I think he had it.
Mr. President, I just have an SR to commend Macon County on bringing a new industry into Macon County. It's going to provide up to 1,000 jobs.
All right. Any objection
warehouse.
to receiving this SR? Hearing none, so ordered. Secretary Reed received the SR. That's all we got. Secretary, call the next bill on the calendar, please.
On page 15 of the calendar, House Bill 163 by Representative Greer relating to income tax.
Mr. President,
Senator Orr.
bill we've already passed. We passed the Senate version. I was a sponsor of that. And at this time, I'd move third reading using the previous roll. Tax cut bill on the
Senator Orr, do you want to use the long roll?
previous roll. No.
Previous roll?
Long roll.
All right, Secretary, do you want to talk? All right, you're recognized.
Yeah. This is the one, Senator, we had, the one for defined contribution plans. That's, we passed that one already. This is the one that raises the exemption for families that make 50 to 55.
I remember that. That's enough. You told me about that. 50,
And the child
55.
exemption. So
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'd move third reading using a long roll.
All right, Secretary, call the long roll, please.
Mr. Albritton, Mr. Allen, Mr. Barfoot, Mr. Beasley, Mr. Butler, Mr. Chambliss, Mr. Chastain, Ms. Coleman Madison, Ms. Dunn, Mr. Elliott, Ms. Figures, Mr. Gavan, Mr. Gudger, Mr. Hatcher, Mr. Holly, Mr. Jones, Mr. Livingston, Mr. Marsh, Mr. McClendon, Mr. Milson, Mr. Orr, Mr. Price, Mr. Reed, Mr. Roberts, Ms. Sanders Fortier, Mr. Schofield, Mr. Sessions. Mr. Shelnut.
Sir.
Mr. Singleton. Mr. Smitherman. Mr. Stutz. Mr. Wagner. Ms. Weaver. Mr. Wiley. Mr. Williams.
25 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 163 passes.
Mr. President.
Senator Reed.
Mr. President, we carried over House Bill 463, and I'm going to ask that that bill be brought back. We've got good accomplishment there, but it needs to be explained to the body.
All right, Secretary, call House Bill 463, please. All right, Senator Chambliss.
On page 10 of the calendar, House Bill 463 by Representative Robbins relating to Coosa County. Committee amendment pending.
Senator Chambliss.
Mr. President, thank you, and I appreciate the work of the body and the ability for us to go off the floor and really have some good discussions and negotiations. And I think we have worked out an agreement. Senator, do you want to talk before I go into the details?
No, I just want to thank you very much for working with us, and I want to thank Game and Fish for coming up with a good solution. If we all make it happen, I think the whole state's going to benefit from it, or every county benefit from it that has land in Forever Wild. Just want to thank you for really working with them and working with us.
Thank you. So the details of what we've worked out is that the commissioner is going to recommend to the board of Forever Wild, the Forever Wild board, at their May 5th meeting, that they will adopt a policy to make payment per acre to replace the revenue lost to every county in the state. If they reject that recommendation from the commissioner and obviously from this body, then the commissioner and the department is going to support legislation to do that exact same thing. So with that, I also have commitments, and I'm let them speak for themselves about their support for if that does not happen.
And I told you before, I was the one that started this charge, so I'm going to be the first one that commits to you that if they don't do as they say, we're going to make it happen for you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Chambliss. You did a good job. And you and I sat back there all day when this bill was on the counter, and I kept prodding you saying, you know, Mobile County, Baldwin County, we have a lot of acres in Forever Wild. And it should be in Forever Wild. But at the same time, we lose a lot of revenue. And I just want to thank you. And I was in the meeting and the commitment was made. And I will be, if you allow me to co-sponsor that as a co-sponsor, if that does not happen, I will be here making sure it happens.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator.
Thanks, Senator Sessions. Senator Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Chambliss, thank you again for working with us on our concerns. I think the result here is a good one. It's a good one for counties across the state. It fixes not only Coosa County's problem, but states all across, or excuse me, counties all across the state. And I just appreciate the good faith you're showing here, and will renew my commitment to make sure that if the board does not decide in the way or act in the way that we're asking them to do, that I will be supporting, and along with Senator Sessions, ask that you allow co-sponsorship of that legislation, and we'll work very hard to make sure that it comes to fruition. The deal that you've negotiated here is good for all counties in the state.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate your help and dialogue during the discussion and your commitment to support us going forward.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thanks, Senator Elliott. Senator Weaver.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Chambliss, I'd just like to echo the words of our colleagues that came up here. You're my delegation member, I support you and appreciate the work that we do together. The Department of Conservation, thank you for being a part of the solution and the conversation. And thanks for having this dialogue today. And like our other colleagues have said, I'm happy to co-sponsor whatever we need to do going forward to make sure this all continues with good.
Thank you, Senator, and I appreciate you working with us and being part of that meeting and everything you did to make it happen.
Thanks, Senator Weaver. Senator Melson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm glad that y'all could work out a compromise, but I do have a couple of questions. Sure. My understanding is the Department of Conservation is going to make up that loss to those counties that have Forever Wild with their ad valorem tax. Is that correct?
That's correct, but it'd be the Forever Wild Board that would make it up, not the
Forever Wild. Okay, so basically, you're going to give those counties back their funds that they have lost. Where's that money going to come from?
Well, that's up to the Forever Wild Board to come up with.
Who funds the Forever Wild Board?
There's a constitutional amendment and their funding comes through that constitutional amendment. And Jack can probably explain it a little bit better than I can.
Well, we're just going to take money from one place, put it in another. And what about the counties that don't have Forever Wild?
I'm sorry?
The counties that don't have Forever Wild, what are they going to get out of this?
Nothing. They haven't lost anything out of it.
Okay. So maybe I won't go down to maybe they need to let up some of the land back to the private sector to get back in the tax base. But I will just say that I'm going to vote for this bill, but this isn't a magic cure to me. It's a shell game that we're going to move money from one hand to the other. And I just wonder if Senator Albritton was here, what he would think about this bill, because I'm sure that comes out of general fund.
No, sir. No, sir. It will come out of the $15 million or so that goes to Forever Wild each year and go to the counties who that money is.
You said it goes to Forever Wild.
No, it goes to the counties that have lost the revenue.
Okay. I'm going to step down, but I just think that this sounds like a solution that's probably not as rosy as we're thinking, but I'm just going to step down and I'll support you, but I don't think this is going to be as easy and straight a fix down the road. And again, sounds like a solution, but I'm not sure it's been thought out as well. But I'm going to support you, and we'll just see what happens down the road.
Thank you.
Thanks, Senator Melson.
Mr. President.
Senator Schmidlman.
First, I want to tell you that I thank you for working that out. I must say this to the body. I don't have to say it to you because let me just bring this in proficient. You and I talked this morning, what, about 8 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
So, we kind of had our conversation about this issue before we even came in. That's why I'm thanking you for what you doing, because, I expressed to you, I've had a lot of concern on my end about this process. The one thing that I want the body to listen to is that I'm following up what the senator said here in a sense, okay, Senator Nelson, is that I just hope that we don't get in a situation like we had to do with the pistol permits. We got to backfill somebody from this budget. Because as you heard me say numerous times, and I will keep saying to y'all, more and more as we go to, after y'all get reelected and people already don't have opponents, is that we can't keep taking money from there and not filling our judge need. That's why I don't want us back filling out the general fund. We need just as much money, and money is there. You understand what I'm saying? And I have to keep bringing that issue because money right now ain't the issue. It's the will to do what we need to do. And I don't want, because that's the case, that we've got to backfill it from there. I want them to do, you just said what they got, so I understand. Right. But I don't want us to bend to the request to backfill something that should be taken, like he said, from wherever that is. So right. I just had to express that.
And we are in agreement.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
And I know, listen, when you say that, I don't have to say anything else because
yes, sir.
I'm with you. So you did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was very cantankerous. I mean, it was very tense, but you did a very good job. you should be proud of what you did, and I'm proud of what you've done, and everybody else too.
Yes,
in this is that you all really did a good job of defining Webster's dictionary of definition of politics, which is the art of compromise.
Yes.
Thank you very much for what you did.
Thank you, Senator.
I thank
Appreciate
the other
you.
ones too.
Thank you, Senator Smotherman.
Mr. President,
Senator Barfoot.
once again, I want to tell Senator Chambliss, thank you for your leadership in Elmore County.
Thank you.
Because this deal that was brokered and the commitments that you were able to get helps Elmore County.
That's right.
The Yates Lake West Track over around Tallahassee area and the Wheels Trust Addition, and that property being located in Elmore County, and you have served once again the citizens of Elmore County well, and I'm appreciative of that.
Thank you, Senator. It's been a pleasure to serve with you, and I appreciate everything that you've done to help. And like I tell them in Elmore County, there is no line between me and you. We're their senators. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, Senator Barfoot. All right, Senator Chambliss, or Senator Gudger.
I just wanted to put my support behind Senator Chambliss. I appreciate you taking time off the floor to be able to negotiate and kind of go through that together. I think it's a better way for us going forward in the future for everyone. Thank you for doing that, and you have my full support on future legislation. This bill, whatever happens, as we've talked about and negotiated, so thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, Senator.
All right, Senator Chambliss.
Mr. President, with that, based on the recommendations and the commitments that have been made and have been described, I will make a motion to carry this bill over.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? House Bill 463 is carried over.
Mr. President, a brief moment of personal privilege.
You're recognized.
With that, you all know this is a House bill. So I'm going to walk out that door and go down and talk to my House colleagues. If I'm not back in about 5 minutes, will somebody come get me? Thank you, Mr. President.
You're tough enough to take care of yourself. You got it. All right. Secretary, call the next bill.
On page 18 of the calendar, House Bill 487 by Representative Shaver relating to tax credits. Committee amendment pending.
Mr. President,
Senator Livingston.
President Senator Jones is going to handle this bill.
Senator Jones.
Thank you. Just leave it to Will. Mr. President, there are no questions about this bill. First, I'm going to move adoption of the committee amendment using previous roll. Got a good roll?
All right. Any objection? All right. No objection.
No objection. I'd like to be recognized.
All right. You want to? Okay.
Yeah, this is one of those that I really felt good about. I tell you, because we're going to be able to get those kids adopted, and I was in committee. I think, if you were there, that I really praised that. And I know we're trying to move things, but I just wanted to say that this is a great bill. It's a great bill. It's going to help a whole lot of kids. It's going, and that's as moving to me as anything else we're doing. So I won't delay it 1 minute. Go right on. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. So I would renew my motion to adopt the committee amendment using previous roll.
All right. Any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Mr. Albritton. Mr. Williams.
(26 ayes, 0 nays). The committee amendment's adopted. All right, Senator Jones.
There are no questions from my colleague across the way. I'll move for final passage using previous roll.
All right. Any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Mr. Albritton. Mr. Williams.
26 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 487 passes.
Thank you, Mr. President, members.
Thanks, Senator Jones. Secretary, call the next bill.
On page 30 of the calendar, House Bill 434 by Representative Coleman relating to criminal law and procedure.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Coleman Madison.
Thank you, sir. This bill is a companion bill to another one that is on there. They are recommended by the Governor's Office on Human Trafficking, and basically what this bill does is allow for video testimony for those persons of trafficking, sexual trafficking, just as we do with children, so that it won't be create further trauma. The bill was drafted by the office of the DA's office, and so there are no questions. I move for final passage using previous roll.
All right. Any objection? All right. You want to talk on the bill? Okay, you're recognized.
Senator, good. I think it's a good job you're moving that. I have a little special interest in that, the city of Birmingham passed a resolution addressing this issue and taking a position on it and certain things that they would do. The League of Women Voters took a position and issue on it. And I'm proud. You know how Daddy is. I'm proud to say that my daughter was the one who did both of those for the city and for the League of Women Voters.
Well, it's something needed. I-20 is a gateway into our state for sexual trafficking. And a lot of these victims are traumatized, first of all, having gone through that. And now when it comes up to go to court and testify, you got to face the person, and that becomes another traumatic experience. So this being drafted by the DA's office and pushed by the governor's office on human trafficking, this would allow video testimony rather than in person, same as we do with children.
Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you that I have a special love for it and interest, a little close to me, and I really understand it. I've been educated.
Oh yeah, we got several houses in Birmingham.
I was showed a couple of the places that they had to stake out to do what they were doing.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, I call for the final passage using previous roll.
Any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Strawbritton. Mr. Williams.
26 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 434 passes. Thanks, Senator Coleman Madison.
Thank you, sir.
Our Secretary, call the next bill.
On page 5 of the calendar, House Bill number 148 by Representative Wingo relating to Tuscaloosa County. BR pending.
Okay, I will hold the mic. I will. Mr. President.
Senator Singleton.
We're working on an option here right now. What's the next bill? You want me to just carry it over? Call the chair?
Yeah, call the chair.
Carry it over to the call the chair.
Any objection?
Thank you.
Hearing none, so ordered. House Bill 148 is carried over. Call the chair. Secretary, call the next bill.
On page 20 of the calendar, House Bill number 513 by Representative Stringer relating to firearms.
Senator Van.
Thank you, Mr. President. What this bill does is it restores the definition of shotgun to what it was before we passed the gun bill. This was an oversight in the way it was handled, and so if there's no objection, I would move for passage using previous roll.
All right. Yeah, Senator Williams.
Thank you. I had a concern before, and it's my housemate that's carrying it, but how does this affect like a judge that shoots shotgun shells and a pistol? That was my concern.
Well, it affects the definition that it goes back to the old definition that says a shotgun is something that you shoot from the shoulder. Okay? I mean, that's what we all think about when we got a shotgun. We have a different definition for a short-barreled shotgun, which a judge, I mean, it goes both ways. You can put a .410 shell in there, or you can put a .45 in there. So I'm not sure how that would categorize, but in any event, we're going back to the old definition of shotgun in this bill.
Good. Thank you.
All right, Senator Van.
No further questions. Without objection, I would move for final passage using previous roll.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Strawbritton. Mr. Williams.
26 ayes, no nays. 26 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 513 passes. Secretary, call next bill.
On page 14 of the calendar, House Bill number 435 by Representative Wingo relating to education.
Mr. President, House Bill 435 just increases the student loan repayment from $2,500 a semester to $3,750 a semester for our math and science teachers. Move previous roll.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Mr. Albritton, Mr. Williams.
27 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 435 passes. Secretary, call next bill.
On page 28 of the calendar, House Bill 284 by Representative Coleman relating to crimes and offenses.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. This is a companion bill to the one we just passed, and basically, again, it is recommended by the Governor's Office on Human Trafficking and drafted by the Attorney General. And what it does is further provide definition for human trafficking as far as to add coercion in it, and also further defines the meaning of sexual servitude. So, no further questions. I move for final passage using previous roll.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Mr. Albritton, Mr. Williams.
27 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 284 passes.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Senator Coleman Madison. Secretary, call the next bill.
On page 24 of the calendar, House Bill 488 by Representative Shaver relating to public officers and employees.
Mr. President, 488 is a bill that includes some death benefits for those members of first responders who have been afflicted in death caused by COVID within a specific time period. Unless there's any questions, I'd move for final passage 488 using previous roll.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Mr. Albritton, Mr. Williams.
Twenty-seven ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 488 passes. Secretary, call the next bill.
On page 15 of the calendar, House Bill 253 by Representative Bedsall relating to firefighters and rescue squad members. Committee amendment pending.
Senator Gudger.
We have a committee amendment we'd like to adopt at this time. Is that correct? Making that with a,
all right, you want to adopt the committee amendment?
Yes.
Using previous roll?
Without objection, please.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Mr. Albritton, Mr. Williams.
28 ayes, no nays. 28 ayes, no nays. The committee amendment's adopted. Senator Gudger.
Thank you. This is a tax credit for qualified volunteer firefighters. That's what this bill does. I'd like to make a favorable motion for the third reading without objection, using with the roll without, what is it?
Using previous roll?
Thank you. Previous roll without objection.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Mr. Albritton, Mr. Williams.
28 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 253 passes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thanks, Senator Gudger. Secretary, call next bill.
On page 27 of the calendar, House Bill 230 by Representative Hollis relating to the Corrections Department.
Mr. President.
Senator Singleton.
I have an amendment.
All right, Secretary Reed received the amendment.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Amendment to House Bill 230 as engrossed by Senator Singleton. On page 2, line 8, delete first, second, or third and restore the stricken language. On page 2, line 21, delete or and replace with the following and. On page 2, line 23, after contraband, delete a and replace with the following in the alternative a. On page 2, lines 23 and 24, delete who is suspected of hiding contraband. On page 2, line 24, delete or and replace with the following and. On page 3, line 10, after is, insert the following, pregnant or. On page 3, line 11, after using, insert the following, leg or. On page 3, line 16, after to, insert the following, the unborn child. On page 3, line 19, after uses, insert the following, leg or. On page 4, line 6, after of, insert the following, the unborn child. On page 4, line 6, after pregnant woman, insert a comma.
All right, Senator Singleton.
Mr. President, with that, in this bill, the bill would not, there was some concerns with the Sheriff's Association based on search and cavity searches while women were pregnant, not in their third trimester, or where they would have to shackle them before they have a baby. There's no shackles on women in the state of Alabama. They can still give them a cavity test, do the procedure that they do just to make sure that there's no drugs or anything of that nature. The bill kind of took that out. We're putting that, placing that back in, and making sure that the police and the sheriff still have all the tools that they want to do the searches and to be able to deal with people who are acting irate or not under control. So they can still shackle them in the means that they need to keep law and order when there's a need for it. And it's agreed upon amendment. We all agree upon it. With that, I'd like to adopt the amendment, use of previous role without objection.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Robert, Mr. Williams.
28 ayes, 0 nays. The Senator Singleton amendment's adopted. Senator Singleton.
Mr. President, you move for third reading, dispense with use of previous role without objection.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Albritton. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President.
28 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 230 passes. Thanks, Senator Singleton. Senator Reed.
Mr. President.
Senator Reed.
Mr. President, I have like to jump in here for a minute to offer a resolution. And this resolution is going to be in honor of our interns. So I'll ask the desk to read the resolution.
All right. Any objection to receiving the resolution? Hearing none, so ordered. Secretary read and receive the resolution.
Senate resolution commending the Alabama Law Institute Senate interns during the 2022 legislative session by Senator Reed. Whereas highest commendation is herein extended to the Alabama Law Institute Senate interns for exemplary service during the 2022 legislative session. And whereas the Alabama Legislative Intern Program was established to include student interns in the state legislative experience by allowing them to observe and participate in the legislative process of state government, and the program has evolved into an integral part of the Alabama legislature. And whereas during their tenure with the Senate, Cavante Hall of Prattville, Stephen Morris of Auburn, Busy Murphy of Montgomery, Christian Stockdill of Birmingham, and Samuel Stroud of Daphne mastered complex legislative issues and assisted staff members with numerous undertakings. And whereas these remarkable Alabama Law Institute Senate interns made a lasting impression by demonstrating a keen interest in the legislative process, exhibiting a spirit of service and devotion to the public good, and completing tasks with attention to detail. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the Legislature of Alabama that the highest commendation is extended to the 2022 Alabama Law Institute Senate interns for their exemplary service, and it is directed that a copy of this resolution be presented to each of them in admiration and appreciation, along with best wishes for continuing success in future endeavors.
Mr. President.
Senator Reed.
Mr. President, I would like to direct the attention of the Senate body to the gallery where standing are our interns for the year. Mr. President, these young men and women have done an exemplary job in supporting the Alabama Senate during this session, and I want to say how much, on behalf of the body, that we appreciate your efforts. Best of luck to you and all your future endeavors, and hope that this experience is going to be a good part of you moving forward and accomplishing great things in your life. So God bless you. Godspeed to you. Mr. President, I'd ask that all senators be added as co-sponsors.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
I'd make a motion that we adopt the resolution.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution's adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thanks, Senator Reed, and thank you to the Senate interns.
Thank you. Mr. President.
Senator Smitherman.
Hey, before y'all leave up there, I just want to thank y'all very much. Y'all made our lives so much easier. I know y'all made mine easier. So thank you very much. Anyway, I or any of us can help you, let us know. Thank y'all.
All right. Secretary, call next bill.
On page 20 of the calendar, House Bill number 504 by Representative Pettis relating to motor vehicles and traffic.
Mr. President, I want to speak to the bill very quickly. We got some things working and going to get everybody educated on what all this bill means and stands for.
Questions?
And I know my colleague across the way has some questions, so I'm going to yield. Yield to Senator Smitherman for some questions.
All right, Senator Smitherman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can you tell me, if you may have a copy of that kind of stuff, can you tell me what's the difference? You know, I thought, looking at the title, I'm going to tell you what I thought. And then you said, no, it's this, but it's this. So I thought that it was, I know we already moved cars off the road. So I thought we kind of already had something about that, but obviously this is something probably better what they talking about doing.
You're a very wise man.
Because and it's amazing. So when you get a chance, will you share that with me? And then I want to do, well, before you do that, let me do my contrast. You know, we've come a long ways in this era, this issue where you addressing right now.
Mm-hmm.
See, I know I'm telling my age, but I can tell you when the rule of thumb was, when you had an accident, you don't move your car, nobody, because they got to come and see and draw, and they got to do certain things, and it was a super delay. You talk about delay in traffic, because until they got there, and some of the cars could be moved, people just sat there. I don't know if y'all remember that, I do. And then we finally got to where it is now. They said move your car off the right, or vehicle off the right of way. Now, here comes something to upgrade it. So can you tell us what the upgrade is?
I can, but I got a question before I do that. I want to, you talking about in the past, I bet at that time, the interstate going through Birmingham, how many lanes was it back then?
I'm going to tell you like this. So y'all can feel good about things that you do to help us up there, because in that day, the interstate stopped at the Jefferson County line. They would not put the interstate in Jefferson County. You had to get off the interstate, get on Highway 31, drive all the way through Jefferson County, through Birmingham on 22nd Street, the one way that you come in now from Homewood. Over the hill from Homewood, past Vulcan, and you go straight. You had to get off the interstate and go through Birmingham that way, and then at the other end of the county, you get back up on the interstate. Yes, the largest county in the state, they would not, for some reason, run the interstate through the county. So that's the way, you know what I'm saying? So you see how it was on 31. And you got everybody from South Alabama, the same people you see driving up 65, going up through Birmingham. All y'all whoever go up that way, they would have to get off and go through that way. Now, mind you, I want to get this straight though. And somebody correct me. It was something about we only had. I don't have it right, but I think we only had 67 legislators, or so. It was something about each county had one or something. Wait, y'all calm down. Calm down. Just calm down. Calm down, everybody. Calm down. It's all right. Everybody calm.
All right, we're on the bill here. So where are we at right now? I had Senator Singleton filling in for me. Did a great job.
I was talking until the
You got the mic?
Yes, sir.
All right.
But I'll continue to talk if that's under control, you know. I just didn't want to be a distraction of what handling the situation, but it seems like it is. So I will continue to talk.
Thank you.
No, it takes a,
well, You want me to keep it?
All right, you want to make a motion or?
Not quite yet. Since you just coming in, I'm gonna give you the full speed of it.
Okay.
We were asked to engage in some little discussion and some things that I don't have a clue about is getting done. Okay? So I'm just doing as I was asked.
Important things, very important things.
Yes, very important things, but I'll just continue. This, you get ready.
You know what?
Yeah, you ready for this?
I think
Mr. President,
things are ready to roll.
Mr. President, I'm gonna yield back to the senator.
All right, Senator Jones.
Thank you, Senator. I want to hear more about that later too.
Okay.
I'm going to move, if there are no further questions, but for final passage of HB 504 using previous roll. Do we have a good roll? Yes, I think we do. Previous roll without objection.
All right, you long roll.
Hey.
Secretary, call the long roll.
What's the difference?
Mr. Albritton. Mr. Allen. Mr. Barfoot. Mr. Beasley. Mr. Butler. Mr. Chambliss. Mr. Chastain. Ms. Coleman Madison. Ms. Dunn. Mr. Elliott. Ms. Figures. Mr. Gavan. Mr. Gudger. Mr. Hatcher. Mr. Holly. Mr. Jones. Mr. Livingston. Mr. Marsh. Mr. McClendon. Mr. Milson. Mr. Orr. Mr. Price. Mr. Reed. Mr. Roberts. Ms. Sanders Fortier. Mr. Schofield. Mr. Sessions. Mr. Shelnut. Mr. Singleton. Mr. Smitherman. Mr. Stutz. Mr. Wagner. Ms. Weaver. Mr. Watley. Mr. Williams.
$25 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 504 passes. Secretary called, or I'm sorry, Senator Reed.
Mr. President, I think we have some House messages. There's some congratulatory things that we want to try and take if we can.
All right, Secretary, call the first House message.
Message from the House, Mr. President. The House of Representatives has originated and adopted the following House Joint Resolution and sends same herewith to the Senate for its consideration. House Joint Resolution number 282 by Representatives Garrett and others, commending Peblin Walker Williams for outstanding gymnastics accomplishments. Signed, Jeff Woodard, Clerk.
Mr. President.
Senator.
President, I have House Bill 453.
Oh, hold on. We're on this HJR right now. Yeah.
Senator, we're going to be to you in just a moment once we finish with these congratulatory words. And I'm going to make a motion for unanimous consent for immediate adoption.
All right. Any objections?
Resolution.
Hearing none, so ordered. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. HJR 282 passes. Thanks, Senator Reed. All right. Secretary, call next House message.
Message from the House, Mr. President. The House of Representatives has originated and adopted the following House Joint Resolution and sends same herewith to the Senate for its consideration. House Joint Resolution number 283 by Representative Marcus and others, commending Senator Jimmy Holly on his retirement and years of service. Signed, Jeff Woodard, Clerk.
Mr. President,
Senator Reed.
sounds like even the House members are wanting to congratulate Jimmy Holly. So I would make a motion that we have unanimous consent for immediate adoption.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution is adopted. HJR.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thanks, Senator Reed. All right. Now, Senator Hatcher.
President, that tells you how fast I'm ready to get out of here. House Bill number 453 simply authorizes.
Hold on, I got to call this bill up. So
Call the bill.
All right, Secretary, call the next bill.
On page 24 of the calendar.
Okay.
House Bill number 453 by Representative Moore, P., relating to the Board of Massage Therapy.
All right. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Mr. President.
Yeah. Got it.
House Bill 453 simply authorizes and grants the executive director the authority to approve licenses and require liability insurance. That's the gist of the bill. I'd move for final passage if possible. The gentleman across from me has a question.
All right, Senator.
We so you'll notice, you know, I came over here while you was in the middle of it. It's been a request that we just kind of have a little conversation for a few minutes.
Okay.
Few minutes. I'm not objecting to nothing. I was just asked to do something. And so that's all I'm doing. I just want you to know that.
Sure.
Now, having said that, I wonder if we can get them to do a demonstration. You know, like on the 6th floor, we get us about 6 of them little tables, and then we go in shifts. We send 6 senators. Then when them 6 come back, we send 6 more. And then what that is, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. We have, well, the last one be 5, but we have 6 times we can do that. And probably that, you know, with us having things to do, they can't give you the full, they just probably give you neck and shoulder. You know, massage. You sit in that chair and they do what they doing. You know, I'll tell you something. I said I might could give me a little part-time job being a masseuse. Yeah. I mean, you know, I have orchestrative hands. Yeah, you know, when you retire, you want to supplement your little income, you know, that probably keep me right under the radar. I still probably get the little Social Security, you know, whatever it is. Yeah.
I've had one of those deep tissue massages.
Oh yeah.
And when you leave, you seem to be in more pain than when you came. But it was good in 2 days after.
Yeah.
The benefit from it was great.
I got spoiled with that, so I went and got some what that stuff that CBC or CDC, yeah, that's for massages.
Right, that's right.
Oh man, that stuff work. I don't care what nobody talking about him, all that stuff, man. That stuff will get rid of the pain. You know, in your that kind of pain.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
It will do that. And I tell you something else I got for a present, maybe Christmas or something. They bought me one of them little massage guns.
Yeah.
The small ones. They got the things on it. And see, I got a little thing here on my leg, on my knee. I got that, and then it's one other one. I got that every so often I irritate. And now I just, between the stuff and get the little massage gun, I just make sure that, you know, I get a massage and down everything, you know, so, and man, it makes all the difference in the world.
Amazing how those revolutions from that, the resolutions that are
that's right.
It really does a good job on the.
And it got all kind of accessories. Yes. Yeah. So no, I really.
I have one.
You know, yeah.
Look here. The older I'm getting, there used to be an expression where they would say, "You go to bed one way and you wake up another."
That's right.
Pains and aches you didn't have before you went to bed. They're showing up now.
I had to change my ways.
Yep.
You know, I used to, when I wake up in the morning, you know how it is, you're an athlete. You know, you know, I'm an athlete. So I get out the bed, you know, when you wake up, I jump. Not jump, but you know how you get out like that. Man, look here. I hadn't been stretching and exercising and stuff.
That's right.
I got jumped out there one time. and got locked.
Yep.
I'm locked. I was locked, but I felt something. Now,
It's also like that's nerve endings in your foot.
yeah.
And if you don't stretch,
Yep, that's it.
it will, oh my.
So now I get out the right way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I still do the exercise thing. Now, one of the things that to my advantage, when you coach like me,
Right.
I get exercise because I stay up on my feet for 2 hours. You know, they're going down in this end, coaching them. When we're scrimmaging, I'm going down this end. I really 2 hours I'm ripping going. So it conditions me for in here even.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've seen me stand up 3, 4, 5 hours. You've seen that because I have that kind of exercise. Now, I do think I need to do a little bit more stretching.
It makes
It's pure stretching.
Well, you know, another thing that makes a difference, drink a full glass of water before you go to bed.
Got to have it.
And when you wake up, right after stretching, drink that full glass of water.
You need it.
Difference maker.
You got to put that lubrication in them cells. You got to put it in there. If you don't, you could do something.
Yep.
Yeah, people don't, you know, I never understood like I really do now, the value of water.
Yes.
Water.
Yes.
Water. In my car right now, I got a you know, one of them coolers they carry, like one about that big around, about that long. And I keep it, man, about half ice and half water. I hadn't had to have it because I've been in here.
Right.
You know, but I keep it.
But it makes a difference.
Yeah, I don't want to stop buying no sodas. I mean, I ain't against sodas now, I ain't saying that. But I know I got to drink all that water.
Well, but you know, but we tend to have, as a part of our tradition, a lot of problems with kidney disease.
Yes.
And it's interesting that, you know, the water does an incredible job.
It flushes it out.
Yeah.
Your liver too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it flushed them things out, man.
Yep.
Yeah, put fiber in them. Keep them.
Yeah.
Keep them like this.
Yep.
You know. So no, I what are they do? You know, what are they trying to do in this bill? Do you know?
You know, cleaning up some language from ultimately from what happened that primarily authorizes or did.
Oh, I see what it is.
That did not authorize the people, the executive director, to do what they needed to do. And so a part of it was to.
Is your mic on?
And then
your mic on.
And then require them to carry liability insurance.
Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because as I just said a moment ago, if I requested a deep tissue massage, and some people are not, you know, their bodies are not, bones are brittle. Something could happen. And so a person with brittle bones might have some problems.
Yeah.
You know, which is a lack of what? Calcium.
That's right.
So it could create some problems. So that liability insurance, I think, is a good idea.
That's right. That's right.
And it's obviously offering some other definitions as well.
But I think they would come. I think they'd come up here and give us a massage, at least at a discount. You know, we ain't trying to get nobody. We ain't asking nobody for nothing.
Well, you know, one of the things.
But give us just whatever they.
Well, one of the things, Senator, with COVID, is the desire to have teachers be able to have those massages to help them as well. And please, Senator Smitherman, pay no attention to what Senator Jones may be saying over there. Pay no attention to what he's saying. None. None. Wait.
I won't put you on the spot on that one.
He wants to put the bill in the weeds. Yeah, I'm not getting in the weeds. I would add, when I had a minute. I don't think. You should have had it. You had an amendment. I'll turn it break. Certainly.
Senator, Mr. President.
Senator Smitherman.
When he get through communicating, I'm going to yield to him, and he's going to go on and do what needs to be done with the bill.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want to take it away from him, you know.
I understand.
But anyway, I'll talk so it won't be quiet in here. I'll talk. You know, probably want me to be quiet, but I'll talk a little bit. We need to look at getting them to come. And I mean, you know, to give us, they can have some trainees. I take little trainees about ready to graduate, an internship, so, you know, they can practice on us, you know, the necks and the shoulders. Now I'm gonna have you ready? Okay. Mr. President, I yield the mic back to.
All right, Senator Hatcher.
Thank you, Senator Smithman. Mr. President, I'd like to move for final passage using the previous roll.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Mr. Albritton, Mr. Williams.
25 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 453 passes. Thanks, Senator Hatcher.
Mr. President.
Senator Reed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, let me have the body's attention for a moment. We are making good progress on what we're doing. Also, we are in strong support of our colleagues downstairs who are continuing to make strong progress on Senate bills as they're working downstairs. Everyone needs a bite to eat, so we're going to take a recess, Mr. President. We're going to take a recess, and I'm going to recess to the call of the chair so we have some options, but I expect that that's going to be about 8 o'clock that we would be back, so everyone will be aware. But recess to the call of the chair.
All right, you heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We stand in recess, call of the chair.